problem up and down the country, and the group at Liverpool, the Spirit of Shankly, are doing loads to try and fix this issue, which I think is really, really important. It's one of the things, Gareth, that you've been really, really vocal about at the Spirit of Shankly. Was there any specific incident, or was there a specific time where it kind of clicked in your mind that actually this is a massive issue and we need to go and do something about it?
It's the fact that it's rise after rise, and it's the fact that, you know, it's not just ticket prices as well. It's every direction if you're a football fan. So it's multiple TV subscriptions. It's the price of food and drink on concourses. It's the travel prices that go through the roof as soon as a European draw is made. You know, from every direction, we're being financially challenged. And when our own club just keeps asking for more and more and more, and then off to the left, you're seeing a new broadcast deal for the Premier League, 12.25 billion, up 17% on the last one. And you're like, well, why are you putting your hand out to your most loyal fans when you could use this TV cash over here? And I think the big thing for me, and the big thing that keeps me going at Spirit of Shankly, is my son, mentioned him earlier, is now going to games. He's 16 years old. A lot of his friends also go, or at least try to go. And I want football to be affordable for them. You know, one day I'll stop going, and I want them to be able to carry on, and his son, you know, to be able to afford to go, because it feels like it's a race to get the richest fans in the ground right now. And we've seen Manchester United this week, out of nowhere, you know, no consultation with fans. Right, the rest of the tickets this season, £66. Whether you're a pensioner, whether you're a kid, £66. Now, the other week, if you were under 16, you could get a ticket for £25 at Old Trafford. And someone's clicked the fingers and said, no, it's £66 now. So it's reached a tipping point for me now, where fans across the country need to come together and take a little bit of the power back. And we've done this before. We've got the £30 away cap on tickets in the Premier League. It's now believed that is under threat as well. There's been a hint about that this week. So it feels like to me that boardrooms across the Premier League, they're testing the water a little bit. They're like, you know, what can we get away with? And there's always an argument, well, grounds are full anyway. Yep. I always hear that one, and it's like, okay, well, if people I know that have been going for 20 or 30 years decide, right, that's the tipping point and I'm out, who are they likely replaced by? And it might be a different person each time. And I think that's the sweet spot that I think a lot of boardrooms would
That's what they want.
That's what they want.
They don't, for example, I'll look at it through an Arsenal lens, right? They don't want me going to Arsenal because I know where to park my car for free. I know where to go and get a decent priced meal. I know where to go and get a decent priced drink, and how to get away from all of it without there being a problem.
And you don't spend £500 in the club shop.
They want someone that's going to turn up, pay whatever it takes to get a ticket because it's a one-off thing. They want them to go into the club shop, as you say, and spend a fortune, buy food in the concourse, drinks in the concourse.
You're not going to buy anything that's a souvenir, are you? When you do it, when it's part of your life, when you have the commitment to your football team that is just part of your everyday life, you're not going to commemorate that with a purchase in the club shop. You're probably not going to buy a programme. You're probably not going to do anything other than go to the game and leave. Like when I go to Chelsea, they literally get the price of the season ticket a year. They get no additional money, and it's a huge V sign to the most loyal that they're the ones that they seem the most dispensable.
That's it. What sort of work are you guys doing at the Spirit of Shankly to try and get this message across? How's it been going? What's the kind of the sort of plan of action from you guys?
Well, yeah, so there's lots of strands to it. I mean, obviously we do actually have dialogue with the club, and we make up the majority of the supporters board, so we do actually get to say these things to the club. We've also had a representative this week meeting with the Premier League, and ticket prices was brought up there. More on the ground this weekend, before we play Manchester City, ourselves and some City supporters are coming together at the corner of the Cop and the Kenny Dalglish stand at 3:00, and we'll be holding up a huge banner that says "Stop Exploiting Loyalty." We're both going to take that into the ground as well. So all being well, there will be one on the Cop and there'll be one in the Anfield Road at the away end. And that's been going on elsewhere as well. It's going to be happening at Old Trafford too. So there's going to have Everton fans and Man United fans doing similar. And obviously there's a big rivalry between us and City, between us and United, between us and Everton. And I think it's really poignant that all these sets of fans on a day when the games are huge are saying, okay, I'm going to take time out to hold a banner up, to have pictures done, to do interviews for videos and all the rest of it, because this is how passionately I feel that you're pricing me out of my game. And that's what's happening. What we just talked about there, if you think of Liverpool, you think of the Kop. And if you think of the Kop, you think of flags and banners and of passion and of noise and of songs and of chants and all the rest of it. Someone, a football tourist, a football bucket lister, someone coming to, spectate rather than support, they don't do any of that. And the people that do all of that are slowly but surely dropping off a cliff and leaving football, or maybe going out, every now and again, or people are sharing season tickets because of the cost and all the rest of it. But every season, what I would call a good red, as in someone who's given their lives to a club, passionately supports the club, a good red will drop off and say, I've got all these bills, I've got to pay for this, I've got to pay for the kids, I just can't afford football anymore. And we're trying to tether the greed. We're trying to pull the greed down, keep it tethered, and say, just rein it in a bit, lads. If you can cap away tickets, you can cap home tickets.
And you know what is so important to remember, and I can't believe that it's forgotten. The people who want to go for the spectacle, for the occasion, that they want to have the experience of going and feeling what it's like at Anfield, maybe on a European night. The only reason that that's appealing to anyone around the world is because of the famous atmosphere that exists, because of the people that are most dedicated, that are in the Kop, that give their time, their money to create those banners and that atmosphere. It's so short-sighted to think that they are the people that you can rip off. But I guess on some level, when I look at this through a different lens, as I've said the words there, I suddenly realised actually they are the people that you can rip off, because they're the most committed, they're the most devoted, they're the people that will do anything to get there, and they can therefore be taken for a ride.
They are exploiting our loyalty.
They are exploiting the loyalty.
I mean, look, there's a lot of clubs in the Premier League now that have huge investment coming from all sorts of different places. It feels to me like I'd love to sit here and think that we as fans have the power to fix this. And you've got to do something. I completely agree with what you guys are doing and everything that you've just said there. But I do worry that this is only going to get worse. And I mean, I'll come to you, Rory, because, Chelsea, just an example, I'm not throwing shade at you.
No, of course. This is no, you don't even need to. Do you know what I think is really important? You never need to say that. When we have this conversation, I think something that is quite damaging to this conversation is when people approach it through the lens of a tribal rivalry. We are all on the same side here. There is no victory for me in Arsenal pricing you out. There is no victory for me in knowing that Manchester United fans are currently being ripped off in the Stretford end and kids and seniors are being charged 66 quid non-negotiably. That isn't a victory for me. All tribalism needs to go out the window here, and we really do need to all be part of the same movement.
Yeah, it's a great point. But Chelsea are one of the clubs I've thought of because of, obviously, the investment that they've made. Billions and billions of pounds have been pumped in by Todd Bowley and Clear Lake and all the rest of it. And you're seeing that at Chelsea as well, aren't you? You're seeing the club wanting to try and make good on that investment. I'm seeing it at Arsenal now.
Yeah, they are, but they can never do that through fans. You can never, squeezing a loyal fan who sits in the Matthew Harding lower for an additional 200 quid a year. That's changed down the back of the sofa compared to what we're talking about here. That isn't how if you want to make that money back, you do that in a various number of ways, a huge amount of ways. You can do it via sponsorships, you can do it via sleeve sponsorship, you can do it via all of these television deals. There are so many ways that the clubs make billions of pounds. What you don't need to do. In fact, Robin, when we were together on the Overlap, I remember you said something that was quite interesting. You made the case that Liverpool could. What was your argument that
they could freeze the prices for 5 years and remain competitive? Win the Premier League in every one of those 5 years. That money that they make from these incremental price rises doesn't do anything. It's 5 minutes in a room talking to Mo Salah about his salary, probably.
Yeah, that's the thing. That the TV deals are so big now that they've dwarfed what you get from a match day. So to still be pushing that up, it just feels like greed. It does.